Overall, I thought 560 miles an hour. Not just the original. And it's another. It's just another. Yeah, actually, I think it's the key. Pretty much, a lot of the person's there's for example.
I get it. It really does change.
Yeah, I think me too. I'm fairly marriage, and I'm being blessed.
Down page.
Inspires you. It's right off the kids. More powerful than they what's that?
I like vacation.
Yes. It's one of my styles, not just
I'll be free.
basically my background.
Like flying.
Thank you very much.
Welcome, everyone to Unity Center of Des Moines.
Thanks for being here.
Yes, thank you, Kevin, for being here.
It's time.
We're getting started. Thank you for everyone who braved the weather. And a special thank you to everyone who took a little extra time to help get the lot cleared and make it better for people. Mitch, thank you for doing that extra bit. If you've not been here before, please note that there are some welcome packets as you came in the door. You're free to take one of those. Also, if you're here today, on that little back table, there are Advent books. So if that's something that interests you, they are our gift to you to share that. They're from the Unity Worldwide Ministry, and you are free to take one of those and read it in the Advent season. But whether you're joining us online, here in person, first time, thousandth time, know that Unity Center of Des Moines is a diverse community that is focused on positive spirituality. We recognize and honor and meet you exactly where you are, knowing that each of us is our own sovereign being. Let's begin the song. We have a little bit different music team today. Deb, we wish you well in the cold winter wonderland where she's from. They got 4 to 6 inches last night and the roads were not clear on the way. So we said, Deb, stay home. And Susan, Kellogg, and Dennis Kane are going to give us music. This is ready?
I am here, whole and healthy. I relax and visualize. One, two, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. It sounds great, but it's remember. You're a beautiful. He is a terrific pianist. Oh well.
I can't go around. That's Will.
That's close. While we figure, I'll tell you what, he is really good. Let us sing it and he'll get into it. Let's see. He will, because I did it this morning with him. I am here, whole and healthy. I relax and visualize. I am here, whole and healthy. I am well. I am well. I am here, whole and healthy. I accept and I receive. I am here, whole and healthy. I am well. I am well. I am here, whole and healthy. Angels watching over me. I am here, whole and healthy. I am well. I am well. I am here, whole and healthy. I've got lots surrounding me. I am here, whole and healthy. I am well. I am well. All is well. All is well. Yay! I love this bouncy, playful energy that is in the space. We had the arts fair here yesterday, and that's exactly what it was. It was just bubbly and fun and free, and I just want to celebrate that. Clayton, could you see if this mic, the red, could go up a little louder? How about that? Do I sound better now? Okay, good. Oh, celebrations. So I want to share a little story of how the prayer class, raising consciousness, manifestation works. The words may not, but the concept does. So I had to change the way that I do water. And in my head, I was like, I need a little shelf that's maybe like 2 by 2, like 2 or 3 shelves high. And when I know it, I'll see it. Well, it just so happened within the same week, I was helping someone in my job move out of the country, and they had the rental company come and pick up the furniture, but they left a shelf.
Oh my God.
A 2-tier shelf, 2 by 2, that fits exactly where I need it, does exactly what I need it to do. And this guy says to me, the rental company left this thing, and I don't know what to do with it. And I said, well, report it and see what they say. The day that I did his leaving departure inspection, he shows me the email where the rental company says, all items have been accounted for. We picked up everything. And he goes, well, do you want it? And I said, yeah. And I told him the story, and I got a little bit of a chance to share my love and my belief system with him, and just gave him that message of keep believing. And now every time I look at that little shelf, I know that I am loved and supported by the universe. And I wasn't attached to how it happened. As Judy said this morning, we don't have to know how, just allow. So I wanted to celebrate that with everybody. Yeah, you can clap. It was really awesome. Who else has a celebration? This is a celebration service where we get to celebrate all that's happening. I know there's some things, because I can keep going. I'm celebrating all you guys are, yes, Paul, I'm celebrating all you guys are here. And all the way that everybody just does what they can to make it all happen.
Well, to add to what Stevie said, sometimes you don't even know what is going to be happening. You're just out there being and sharing and so on. I was on social media, and someone had suggested that I go take a look at LinkedIn to do some promotions. So, okay, well, I'll do that. And the timing was hard. Finally, all of a sudden, somebody clicked, and I decided to go into LinkedIn and accept this invitation. And lo and behold, right there was my daughter's best friend from Albuquerque inviting me to come to something. I haven't talked to her for years. She was always at our house in Albuquerque all the time, best friends. And I clicked on the invite, and now all of a sudden, after years, we're connected.
Aww.
And it's a beautiful connection. Almost a fifth daughter, so to speak. And so sometimes I don't even know what's going to happen, and the universe has that bigger picture. So just being myself and sensing my timing works.
Go ahead, take a turn. Yes, let's clap for that. Oh, legend.
talk about things that you don't expect. I didn't know that Dennis was such an accomplished pianist. I'll tell you what.
Hey, Dennis!
You don't know the backstory to this. I came in, Deb is now, she's got 5, 6 inches more of snow out on the east side of Iowa. I couldn't make it. And, you know, I was just gonna play my guitar or something. Or Dennis was playing guitar, but he chops onto the piano and we had to kind of play around and work it out because he wasn't familiar with it. And that's why it took us a little time to get in the first one. But I'll tell you what, that was just exciting to me.
It was fun.
It was
Yay!
so much fun. And I've always, I'm getting ahead of myself, but I'm perfect for what I came to do. So warts and all.
That's right.
And thank you, Dennis.
It all belongs.
All right.
And I'm learning that it's not all up to me. I'm really getting that message with the event yesterday, with this morning. You know, we think sometimes we can take too much responsibility. And if we just do what we can and everybody else does what they can, it all gets done. All right, well, moving on. So our Christmas candlelight celebration is on December 16th, Tuesday, December 16th at 6:30 p.m. And in the community room, there is a sign up where you can put your name and a treat that you might like to bring. Again, if everybody just brings what they can, that we all have enough. So December 16th, it's a Tuesday, 6:30 p.m., Christmas candlelight celebration. We always have great music and a little message and just a nice time to get together and celebrate the holiday season. There is also a greeter sign up. There's a calendar right by the water cooler in the community room. If you would be willing and able to be in the atrium area about 10-ish to the start of the service to just welcome people as they come in. That's all that is. And if you have any questions, you can always contact the Unity cell phone or email or see me. Or if Anne is here, you can see her. And they can give you some tips on how to greet people. But that's all it is. Basically just saying hi, show up with yourself in your heart. Hey, Kevin, thank you. Let's see, what else? Special events coming up. So, do I have, yes, so tonight, 6 p.m. is a drum journey. Thursday, the 11th is a breath circle. Friday, the 12th is a men's connection circle. Saturday, the 13th is a workshop with Rachel Corpus on how to channel benevolent beings and high realms. If you look at Linda in the back, she's got a little handout. She can give you some more details and information on that. Did you want to say a few words, Linda?
Yeah, I'll just say that you'll learn how to, I do have the bird on. You'll learn how to open your intuitive channels easily, discern energy clearly, and co-create with the higher dimensions for guidance, healing, and joy. The goal isn't to escape Earth, it's to bring more heaven here. I really like that.
Bring more heaven here. Yeah, absolutely.
She's very, if you don't know, she's a very good teacher and you will learn a lot.
It'll be a good thing. Yeah. So all the details for that and our regular events, like we always have midday meditation, Tai Chi is this coming week, those types of things. You can go to Unity Des Moines, click on the calendar, and if you're on your phone, click on month, and then you can see all the stuff that's happening. You can also go to the newsletter. If you're not subscribed to our newsletter, that's on the website too. And there's a little subscribe button. If you click on the newsletter box, you can start getting that into your inbox. So that newsletter comes out on Tuesday and it usually has the stuff for this week and then a few things save the date. So unitydesmoines.com. One last thing, if you have a prayer request or you have a suggestion of something you would like to co-create in this space, there are sheets to write that down as you came in the entryway. And then that box under that painting in the back, that's a prayer box. You can just drop it in there. You can identify yourself or you can do it anonymous. Either way, it's up to you. But know that we open that, we receive it, we work on it, and all the things can go in that box. All right, let's move on to our statement of faith. And as we say this together, the words are up on screen. There is only one power active in my life and in the universe, the divine source of all life and love. Next, the unity affirmation. And as we say this, I invite you to just take a deep breath. Take a moment to find that place within yourself that you feel connection to the oneness of all that is. And let's say this together. Unity of Des Moines is the radiant center of the divine light, mighty to attract its good and to radiate good to others. With this spirit of oneness, I have a list of names of people who have asked for our prayers. And whatever feels right to you, maybe close your eyes, maybe put your hands over your heart. We ask that our consciousness be raised to a place where we can see these people as the whole, complete, divine beings that they are. Elena, Allie, Alexander, Annabelle, Bobby and family, Brittany, Carla, Seal, Chad, Dennis, Dawn, Devin family, Denny, DJ, Elizabeth, Jack, Jennifer, Jesse, Jody and family, John, Jotana, Karen, Carrie, Kim and family, Christina, Laura, Linda, Marilyn, Matthew, Paul, Pam, Celine, Scott, Star, Susan, Devin, Victoria, and people with struggles we know nothing about. The daily word for today is taken from 2 Thessalonians chapter 3, verse 16, which says, "Now may the Lord of peace himself give you peace at all times, in all ways. The Lord be with all of you." As I prepare for a fuller experience of my divinity in this Advent season, I turn my attention to cultivating the peace of mind and heart. This inner preparation invites me to look beyond my circumstances and attune to the deeper harmony that underlies all creation. Whether I'm in a busy city or a calming natural setting, I trust that each day will dawn in perfect alignment with the heavenly bodies of the cosmos. Likewise, whenever I feel anxious or calm, I trust heavenly peace is with me. Aware of my peaceful nature, I choose thoughts, words, and actions that honor my spiritual self. My presence restores calm in chaos and invites serenity that eases distress. My tranquil demeanor magnifies the peace of God. The affirmation that goes along with this, I'll say it once, and then if we can all say it together, is this: perfect peace dwells within me and all beings. Perfect peace dwells within me and all beings. All right, how about another song? This one, as the music team prepares, we know this one, and once we get the one verse, we can do all the verses, and it's much more fun if we sing together.
Here we go. Okay. So if you notice, this is one of those familiar songs, but it says 4 times. So the first verse will show you how that works. And then we'll just repeat it with different words that express different feelings. Ready?
Yeah, go ahead.
I feel the spirit moving me. I feel the spirit moving me. I feel the spirit moving me. I feel the spirit within me. I feel the love 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 within me. I feel the light 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 within me. I feel the joy 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 within me. I feel the peace 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 within me. I feel the spirit 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 within me.
Yeah, put together a round of applause for the music team. Thank you guys. So fun. Oh my goodness. I love it. We have so many talented people here. And that creativity is just such a gift. All right, so now it is my pleasure to introduce our speaker, who's also our song leader, Susan Kellogg. Yes, give her a round of applause. She is going to be speaking on the healing power of the Aramaic Lord's Prayer. And I'll give you the mic in just a second.
All right. And if you have that, you could put that up there right at the top. Because how many of you grew up with the Lord's Prayer?
Yes.
It's most of us. Can you hear me now?
There you go.
Is that better? Okay. I'm short. That's obvious, right? So I'm gonna use a couple of notes. I found this little article out on our at welcoming table back out in the hallway. It said the Aramaic Lord's Prayer decoded. Now, I'm familiar a little bit with the Aramaic prayer. That's the Aramaic language, was the language of ancient cultures. It could be Jewish, it could be Greek, it could be Hebrew, well, Hebrew and Jewish. There's all of these elements to language. And I don't know about you, but some of the thoughts and ideas that I had when I was young didn't fit me very well. They didn't feel good. Like, you're a sinner. Well, I didn't feel like a sinner. I knew I had some issues, but I didn't feel like a sinner. Or you'll never be worthy. You got to work really hard to be, for God to listen. So you better be really good. Anybody got that one? Yucky, right? Well, I'm not trying to bring you down. I'm just trying to say there's more. And this little way of looking at how we pray really inspired me a lot. Because prayer wasn't something that I so much did growing up, because I had kind of an unusual background. My dad, who is a musician, and he had a very sensitive guy. I would say that he didn't know it then, but he was very intuitive, very psychic. He had dreams, he had visions. He would hear things. He was so masterful, his music. And he went on to be a really great musician. But religion just never fit him. So he told me one time, he said, you know what? I used to be an atheist. I said, oh, what's that? He said, you don't believe in anything. And then I decided there was something there, because I was a musician. So when I would play, people would feel good. They would feel uplifted. They would feel whole and happy. And I remember that as a kid. When I was having issues and troubles, because I was very ill a lot, I would put on music so that I could just dance and sing, and I would twirl, and I would do all these things, and it would help my spirit. And that spirit would begin to help my body. It made me feel whole again. So I knew about that. And so a little bit later on, he said, I don't think I'm an atheist. I'm an agnostic. I had to look that one up. Well, agnostic believe in some things, but they doubt. You're not sure. It's like there could be, but I'm going to have to test this out, because he really did. He didn't relate to the normal concepts that many of us grew up with, and there's nothing wrong with them for me. On my friends, I had Catholic friends, I had Jewish friends, I had friends who went to very strict uh, types of programs in their churches, and they were my friends. So my heart always said that was something right about them, even though we didn't talk the same language, right? So this little prayer took a prayer that many of us have grew up with, and I remember saying it. I don't remember so much saying it at a church. It wasn't until we went to the Quaker meetings. How many of you are familiar with the Society of Friends and Quakers? Yeah, they're the ones that talk about God being within ourselves. God's within, and the light is within. And my dad really related to that. He liked that. And plus, some of his buddies who were musicians all went to the same meeting house. They call it a meeting house. And everybody comes and they sit in, at times in pews and rows, just like we do here. But their service is quiet. They just sit in silence until they get an inspiration. It may be an idea, vision, maybe a feeling that comes over them, and they get those little goosebumps, the little chills. That's what the Quakers are. Their shoulders would quake like that. And they know, oh, wait a minute, I better listen. And they stand up. And here, when I was younger, I was about 10, 11 when when we started going here. And I would notice at times I'd get those quakes across my shoulders. I get those chills or goosebumps. And I'd recognize, ooh, I like that thought that person's saying. That feels really good. Sometimes people would stand up and they just talk about their issues in life, because sometimes those were the things that were on their mind. And I'd be waiting. I'd say, okay, well, where's the solution here? Because I'm very solution oriented. And if you're going to have a problem, there's got to be a solution somewhere. That's what got me through illness. It got me, to have 6 kids when I didn't think I could have any. And there's a lot of stuff in my life that wasn't going quite right, but I never lost hope. And I always believed there was something deeper and higher and bigger than me that I could be part of that could help me feel that connection and wholeness again. So prayer is really important. I love the way that Deb leads us at the end when we do that. I'm not sure which language that was, but she said she learned it from a deeper source. Whoops, sorry. Using her hands to conduct unity, heart, source, all that. I love that. That's prayer. When we sing, that's prayer. How many of you love to just dance? That's prayer. How many of you love to work in a garden and dig weeds and plant seeds? To me, that's prayer. What else is prayer? Who else has a prayer?
Walking in the woods.
Walking in the woods. What else? Do you ever have a unique experience, Kevin, on when you're riding that truck on the road and you just want to make sure it's feeling happy?
Well, it's all about distance. That equals high productivity. And when you do between certain loads and more distance it has, then the further you go. And
So-
also if it was delivered timely, then the further you go.
You know what? He's just like being in the present and being creative. That's prayer. So I'm going to take you on a little journey. I wrote these notes down and because I learned a lot about how words can be misinterpreted or interpreted with a certain slant. And not necessarily is that the right thing for me. Everybody has a right to their own interpretation of things, but there are some things that I discovered that I thought, oh, maybe I'm going to get some bigger picture here. And I thought it was pretty cool that Lavina Lineva Cook, this is Laniva Hook. She is the person that came to she was one of our vendors at the last Spirit Seekers Fair in, was it in spring? I can't remember.
It was last spring.
Last spring.
She does QHHT.
Yeah. Okay. So anyway, let's read this just to get started. And I'm going to take you and take a look at some of those words in a little different way and see what you think about them. Let's just read that little prayer and just to get us oriented where we all are. Our Father, who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our
our
daily
daily
bread,
bread,
and
and
forgive us
us
our
our
trespasses.
trespasses,
We forgive those who trespass
against us.
and lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom and the power and the glory forever and ever. Amen.
Amen.
Now, there's another little addition to that, which in this issue, it talks about, some of you may have learned it, and forgive us our debts as we forgive our debtors. So anyway, it's words. What do they mean? To me, what do words mean? How do I feel about it? Am I connected or am I not? So the Aramaic language goes very deep in terms of interpretations of this very beloved prayer. And to me, it's all about the healing power of our spiritual connections. So taking a look at the first line, Our Father who art in heaven. The thing that was really interesting to me about this was the very first word. It's our. And in this, I suggest you get a copy of this. It's got a lot more details in there. I just went to the heart with what's talking to me. But our, it's a unifying word. It's not saying just me or just you or just God or just Jesus. It's our. We all belong in this energy. It is our connection that is that oneness with spirit. I am a part of it. Everybody that comes into this space, when you leave, you take that aura of healing with you. When you've gained some healing, in my opinion, that's what happens to me. Why do I go to spaces where I can share and commune with others? That word commune means to be one with others, not judgmental and thinking I don't fit or wishing somebody would come over and talk to me. How many of you have had, when you walk into space, somebody will come over and share with you and they'll say hello. They'll invite you, they'll welcome you in, or, maybe it takes a couple of times, but that's my finding. That's why we have hug buttons. If you haven't seen those lately, that was started by, I don't know, who was that started?
And Michael.
Marilee and Michael started the hug buttons, just because hugging is kind of a prayer, you give a person a hug, you're just giving them some of your positivity. So the word our is important. What about that word father? Many people think about that as a particular gender. Well, there is no word for father in Aramaic language. This was very interesting to me. It is abwun. And that has multiple layers of meaning. It means father, it means mother, it means source, it means breather of life. So where is our source? Our source, who art in heaven. Our oneness, who art in heaven. The supporter, so we can be in heaven. We all came from the same source. I don't know about you, but when I was a kid, I knew that I was more than just this physical body. I was a soul. Nobody told me that. They had to tell me that later. Oh, you're a soul. You don't have you have a physical body. I thought it was physical body suffering, thinking, oh, I got to be good and find my soul somewhere for a little while. And then I discovered I didn't need to do that anymore because I'm in. So if I can find what connects me to the healing of me, then I can share that with others. So that one is really that feeling of, how many of you breathe every day? Try this, just try this. Go take a nice relaxed breath in. Even put your hands on your heart. And then go at this, breathe out and put your hands out. Let's try again, breathe in. Deb calls this breathing in love, breathing out gratitude. That's her prayer. How does that feel? Just feel that for a moment. I know with the young kids that I teach every day, that's one of the things they do. They learn how to breathe. And then they're relaxed. And then they're at peace. And then they're connected. So that who art in heaven isn't something that is outside us. Heaven's that space inside of us that feels that oneness. So that is a beautiful thought that I wanted to share with you. And I like this idea too. The first line of this prayer, it's about remembering that. Because a lot of us, I know I did, in those first early years, our parents did the very best they could to help us to be able to function. But there were lots of things that they felt at ill at ease in. were separated from. My dad had discovered he had Native American heritage. My great-great-grandmother, grandmother was Abenaki. And he looked native. He did. He's 6'4", this past many years back. Jet black hair, jet black eyes. I didn't look anything like him. I would look in the mirror and go, I'm supposed to be dark. I'm serious. I would not, I had blonde hair because my mother was Celtic. That's where I came from her side. But my dad and all my sisters had darker skin, dark hair, and dark eyes. I thought for me, what happened? But what happened for him was that he began to connect to the spiritual messages that he was learning about the Native American culture. So right now, Paul and I binge on Dr. Quinn, Medicine Woman. And that was very old. I don't know if you've seen that lately, but oh my goodness, it's all about the Cheyenne Nation and their connection to this little town and Dr. Quinn. And I just love it because I connect to that feeling. So, hallowed be thy name. Let's look at that one. Well, there's again, it's a code because there's no one word for the hallowed in God either. The name of God was not pronounceable in Hebrew. It had 4 letters, Yod, Heh, Vav, and Heh. And it was made of beingness. How about that? God isn't something out there. I'm sharing you how I feel. I'm not here to prove anything or change anybody's opinion. But this was really interesting. In language, it had more than just a certain interpretation. So it's all about being and breathing again. And every inhale we have ever taken, every exhale we have ever released is connecting to the God within. So that kind of connects me back to with our Father who art in heaven. Boy, I've got oneness if I would just relax and remember to breathe. And that word, if God was so sacred, it was to remind us that God is a vibration and creation, a presence that can be awakened in ourselves. It's what reattunes us. I am whole, healed, and healthy. It's another way of saying I'm holy. That little song, if you think about it, I'm connected to oneness, to God, the God within me, the spirit, the source, the creator. There's so many words for the same thing. So every living being saying the name of God without even realizing it. That's how close, I love this thought. That's how close God is, closer than our thoughts. Doesn't that feel good? I don't know about you, but my shoulders relax when I say that. Because how many times have I carried, oh my God, this is hard. Life is hard. I'm responsible. What am I responsible for? We all came from the same source. We're all connected. We all have a part of the solution. So, thy kingdom come. That's a powerful statement. So the idea of a kingdom, if you had, like me growing up, I tried to visualize a kingdom. It was always some big palace with a king sitting on the throne. Because that was what I grew up with. There were the stories about kings. The queen would sit beside the king. She was a little shorter. So I didn't relate quite to the king, but I didn't really relate to God with that father figure either, because my parents didn't really talk about that. Now, some of us have grown up that way. That's nothing wrong with it. It's just what served. It was a vision. But the idea for me is that the kingdom isn't something outside me. It's inside me. And I don't have to do anything special to be a part of it. How can I have that kingdom come when I share my true feelings, when I share what I believe? It's not always easy. I'll tell you what, I've kind of been nervous this whole week because of that anticipation of just being myself and sharing what my feelings are, what my thoughts and experiences are. And that isn't always an easy thing for me. I get up and I love to sing, but when it comes to being in front of a group of people, I have had to learn how to just embrace everybody. And being here, I already have that feeling of community and family. So it means it's possible for me to share freely and not be worried whether or not you accept it or not. And I just want to offer that as another prayer. Everyone here has a right to believe what they want to believe and how they want to. If you want to pray like this, pray like this. If you want, like this. You want to pray like this. If you want to pray hallelujah, have you ever been to an African-American church? Boy, do they pray. My God, I have my friends I'll go to. It's a gospel energy. And my mother grew up in Tennessee, so she grew up in gospel. She would go to some of the churches around her. And it's such a powerful, they dance, they cheer, they hallelujah. That's prayer too. So however way you do it. Thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven. Well, here's another one. Aramaic word for that Jesus used for will. Was sabiana. It means sacred desire. Now, I had to take a deep breath about what is that sacred desire. And then I remember it in my studies along the way. I read something, a soul moves by desire. Kind of like when Kevin was sharing about what he does in his work. He's got this soul desire to do the best he can, and he makes sure he's in time with it, and he's making sure he's got organized stuff, and he's ready to go, and he's got that sacred desire to do his best. So I'm going to ask you, isn't there at least one time in your life you have had a sacred desire for something that you want to feel or experience, and that you have let yourself follow through and do it, even if it's hard or scary, because it's something you can't hold back. So it's whose desire is it? It's mine. I move. I move the earth as it is in heaven. I like this thought too. Jesus wasn't talking about a place on earth to go when you die, to go to heaven. It's about being in it. And so another idea that I have found helpful, we actually live in two worlds. The spiritual world, which is that soul of us. The one that has the dreams, the one has the experiences, the one has the feelings. When you share and that soul moves you, it's unstoppable. Anyone here have young kids or are a grandparent of little ones? Lately, okay. How many of you were ever a kid? Silly, right? What were you like when you were little? I don't know about you, but if I want to do something, you'd have to put a big wall up before you could get between me and that thing. Because I had so much desire. I would go out in the neighborhood and I would knock on doors and I would call out to friends. And then there was this old gentleman across the way, and his name was Mr. Clark. And every morning, my mother told me later, she said, you go out and you knock on Mr. Clark's door, and he'd never open the door. He was just this curmudgeon-y old guy. I never gave up. And one time, I actually went up, I knocked on his door, and I said, Clark. And then they called Mr. Clark, come on out, Clark. That's what she was reminding me of this. The door opened and he stuck his head out. And I just gave him a big smile. I said, good morning, Clark. And I don't remember if he smiled back, but the fact that he opened the door and he connected with me for just that little moment, and then he closed the door, that became part of me. And I knew that was important, that I never closed the door on what I feel I need to say or do, or close the door on anybody else. And when I do, I feel awful. My feelings tell me immediately,
Yeah.
I wish I'd done that different, because we're not here to be perfect, right? We're here to learn and grow. That's another one of the things that helps me. Hey, that was a good learning experience.
Yep.
On earth as it is in heaven. So we unite the two worlds. We live in that physical world. So we have stuff. I have a physical body and I have to go through daily, and I go to work and I have to feed myself and I have to make sure I get enough sleep. And it changes as, believe me, it changes as you age. Those taking care of needs require more vigilance to be sure that they're taken care of. When I was younger, I could just kind of breeze through, and oh, well, I didn't sleep for a while. I didn't eat for a while. Well, maybe I should stop. But taking care of myself is real important at this stage in my life if I want to be around for a while. So what keeps me the most positive is when I'm nourishing not only my physical body, but my soul, which is why we all gather and why every one of us has unique practices that help nourish us. One of mine is singing. If I haven't sung enough, I'll come down with a cold like I did. And it takes a while to work it through, and it's almost there. But it takes exercise, it takes, it gives me a chance to feed myself. And then if I share that with others, that helps me feed myself too, when I take the time to share with others. Um, I don't know if you know, I do work at a elementary school. And so there are all ages around me. And so there was never a lack of communication, even though sometimes I wish there was, because it could get pretty rowdy with a whole bunch of kids. But the joy of it is there, the energy from those kids who may just go up to you. And at one day I was feeling kind of bad. This one little girl, she stood and looked at me for a while, and then she went over and she says, "You need a hug." And she gave me one.
Oh.
And that happens a lot because they're unfiltered. When we get filtered, that's when we stop sharing. And I'm going to say that for me. Let yourself get filtered. Give us this day our daily bread. Wow, here's another Greek word. Apiosios. It means beyond the physical. Instead of daily, give us this day our sustenance beyond the physical. Yeah, I must like this thing. Beyond the physical. So that you can do more than survive and thrive. I thought that was pretty cool. It's like what helps me return to that presence of spirit when we need the real me. To tune in, tune up, and turn on. That's my phrase. That reminds me. Excuse me for a minute. Okay, just a couple more. Forgive us our debts. I'm going to use that because that was in this little manuscript here. As we forgive our debtors. And another word is the trespasses and this. But with the word debts, the idea that a debt isn't something that you have to carry forever. Thought, well, that's a pretty good idea because we all have things that we feel shortcomings in, and maybe we feel we didn't do exactly right, or wounds that haven't healed yet, or things that haven't happened that make us be able to feel successful. But instead of letting those thoughts or moments stop us in our tracks, what does forgiveness do? It's not to forget or pretend something didn't hurt. And this was a little phrase in this little booklet. It's choosing to no longer suffer for something you didn't cause. And that stopped me in my tracks to think about it. How many times have I thought about something I did, and then I remember I didn't start out doing that. I didn't start out saying hateful things or tell myself you're no good. Did I ever hear that from somebody around me? Oh, yeah, my mom, she had a hard time. She had a hard time being kind to herself at times. And then as she got older and we shared more, she shared more about her early childhood and what had been challenging for her. And then I began to understand. So if I forgive that in myself, I can forgive it in her and how she shared with me. She did the very best she could. So did my dad. That forgiveness is one of the holiest and the most healing things that I've ever done. My parents both had difficult times and I was sick a lot. But later on in life, I wrote a letter to each of them. My dad, when I was conceived, my mother wrote a little note later, remember you were conceived in love. Because my dad left right after. He got out of the war. He had another relationship. He was damaged from wartime. And so he left. And my mother had me on her own. He ended up coming back and joining the family again. Took some time, but I'm certainly glad he did because his presence made a big difference in my life. But I had to forgive in order to really embrace that. I had to forgive him, and I had to forgive my mother, forgive myself. I had a lot of forgiveness to do. So I wrote them both a letter. I said, thank you for honoring your contract because I felt like you both showed up for me and you did it. And I appreciate it. And I sent them each the one I sent the other because they were divorced. He got another marriage, a wonderful one. My mother never did. But I sent this letter to them and it was kind of a letter of forgiveness because it meant that I understood and I let go. And I sent it to each of them with a letter I sent to the other partner. And they both sent little letters back thanking me. And it was a beautiful experience and feeling that I had come full circle with my past. And it was now part of my present. So what do we have when we lead us not into temptation? I don't know about you, but there's a lot of them out there. Anytime there's a temptation, it could be about some weakness that we have or something we call sin. Actually, sin, it means separation. So, in some languages, there's no word for that, you know? That's interesting. But how many times has there been a temptation to not be truthful because of something I'm ashamed of? Oh, I hope nobody knows I'm thinking that. Or I wish I hadn't had that thought or that said that to that person. So we all have those things as we're going through life, the not so good behaviors. But temptation in the Greek language, I'm going to say this, I don't know if I'm saying it right, but piarasmos, it means test. Resisting the easy way out. Huh, it's not doesn't come as an evil, it comes as a shortcut. Huh, that's interesting. It's rarely about pleasure, it's more about power. If I don't feel powerful inside, I'm going to do something that maybe is a little lesser than what I might do. When I feel powerful, I always want to do something that feels good and uplifts and has some energy of that with it. And so how can I resist when I'm feeling drawn to something that doesn't feel right or think right or act right? There's a little word that I've gotten over my studies, and I've been at this for about 50 plus years. I've shared with people all around the world about sensitivity, intuitive, and discernment. And discernment is so powerful. It means that I understand, it goes deeper than the first impression. It means I'm able to fact find and say, this is me and that isn't. This thought is mine, that thought isn't. That's to me what evil is. Evil separates us. It's what brings us down. It's like that beaten down feeling. And that's not something that we came in with as a soul. We came in with that bright light of a pure spirit. So we sometimes get beaten down over life. I will put my hand up first to say I have. And I know that, and I don't know how many of you relate to reincarnation. How many of you are open to it? I know for me, that helped me a lot to realize that I brought with me some of those temptations from other lifetimes. Maybe that temptation was to think less of myself and not speak my truth, because that didn't feel right. So whatever it is, I've had to work on discerning what is me and what isn't. Evil in the ancient tongue is panaru, meaning the hurtful one, the thing that keeps you enslaved to fear. Woo! I love that thought, because fear is false evidence appearing real. That means somebody out there says it's real, and then I'm supposed to say, oh, yeah, you're right. No, I'm not. I'm not. I used to go to doctors and they tell me what's wrong with me. And I'd say, inside, I'd say, no, that's not right. But I couldn't do anything about it then. But I can now. Evil isn't something out there. There's no more powerful force than that feeling of oneness and love. But it's subtle. It can be really subtle and sneaky. It could be like the thoughts that whisper, you're not worthy. You're always going to be stuck. Well, you better hide. Well, who wants to hide when you know you're a bright, loving person who loves people? So getting into that space is healing. And discernment is not passive, it's active. It's saying, I'm going to figure this out. If that person's saying that, maybe they're confused. How many of you have read that happen? This is the way it is. But no, there's something confusing in that. As a child, I don't know, Paul used to tell me the story when he was going to church. He'd sit there and he'd be in the basement coloring pictures, and everybody upstairs was learning about God, and he wanted to be upstairs because that's where he felt he belonged, I can relate to that. That idea that God is something that I understand and feel within me. So there isn't a separation except what I'm taught that is separative. And then this is me, this is not me. I'm going to try this one again. This little technique is a technique I've used throughout the last 45 years. It's this is me, this is not me. So I want you to do this. I'd like you to just put your hands over your heart and think of something that you know is a true part of you. It's a feeling, it's a belief, it's an acknowledgement, a quality that you know is so part of you, the real you, the good, kind, loving, sharing you. And then just say to yourself, or you can say it out loud if you want to, this is me. This is me. Now, put your hands down. Just feel that for a moment. Now, tune into something you've heard lately that you know isn't. It's so totally opposite what you think or feel, a thought that just doesn't connect to the real you. Okay? And we're going to do something with that. All right? So everybody put your hands up like this and get something in your mind that you want to release. And you're going to do it with this way. I'm going to think about, I'm always going to be sick. That was one of my, this is not me thoughts. And I'm going to go like this. This is not me. So get some concept or something you want to release and just get it full force and then let it go. This is not me.
This is not me.
This is not me.
Not me.
All right, go back to the heart again. Go back to the this is me. Tune back into that. This is me.
This is me.
We're going to do the release. Tune back into the what you know is not true. This is not me.
This is not me.
Just resonate with that for a moment. Anyone like to share what their experience was, just briefly, when you did that? It would help us all. Anybody have a experience with that you could definitely feel? Yes, Kevin.
Just believe that eventually you'll become successful once you learned from your failures and when you make adjustments and prove that what you can do for life, then you'll be able to become successful eventually, even when you had to accept failure. Always know that failures are only temporary.
And is this me? Yes. How many of you would take that one on and go, oh, this is me. I like that feeling. Yes, Paul.
No. Just made my head.
Oh, yes. Okay. Anybody else? What was the difference in the feeling? Yes.
When I was thinking of the thing I wanted to release, I felt fear. And when I pushed it away, it was a reduction in fear. And when I embraced the opposite, it was an even greater reduction in fear.
Nice.
And I wish, yeah, that was beautiful. It's that feeling of connection, but then releasing. What is your name?
Brandy.
Brandy. Brandy was saying releasing it was letting go of fear. The fear went away, reduced it. Like I think that was your word. Yeah. Anybody else? Yeah,
Pushing it
Jennifer?
out was more powerful.
Pushing out, releasing.
And just that false statement that I have about myself that is keeping me, in my illness.
False statements keeping me in my illness. It's like a little enslavement. That word came up in this too, the enslavement. It's like releasing it and releasing, freeing. I
Yes.
hear the word freeing,
Yes.
freeing myself.
Yes.
Yes, yes.
It was interesting at the very beginning to love myself. There was like this little voice, you're not allowed to do that. And that was really interesting to see that was there.
Thank you for sharing that. How many of you ever felt that? I'm not allowed to love.
I think that's when I did this, I had this little voice that you're not allowed to love yourself.
Right. So there is just a suggestion. So if you discern that, that's discernment. I feel this, but I hear this voice, but no, you can let that one go and then come back the way you feel you need to, because there's no right or wrong about this. Yes. And that's that feeling of being able to let go, like the God within. Yeah. And the very last line, for thine is the kingdom and the power and the glory forever and ever. So to me, when I read that, you know, at the end of it was very simple in this little manuscript. Just remember who I am and why I'm really here. So I was just being reminded is that who I really am is that loving soul worthy of sharing that love. And why am I really here? Everybody has a unique purpose. It may be very different from mine, but everyone has that inspiration within that inspires us to get up and to tune in, to tune up and turn on. And that's what I wish for everybody today, to have that kind of day where you do that. And that's it. So we have.
All right, so if you, thank you, first of all, thank you, get another round of applause for that message. And for all the work putting the music together to make today possible. If you would like to share your resources with Unity Center of Des Moines, now is your opportunity to do so. If you are joining us online, or if you don't carry cash for some reason, we can also accept donations by Venmo at Unity-Des Moines. The last 4 digits of the number are 9033. Or we can also accept Zelle at info@unitydesmoines.com. That email address will also get donations to us. So Zelle or Venmo, both of those things are on our website. But regardless of your contribution, whether it's a financial, physical, spiritual, or energetic level, we want to offer the following affirmation together. I am infinitely abundant. Divine love through me blesses and multiplies all that I am, all that I have, all that I give, and all that I receive. I thankfully acknowledge the divine source.
Simple, joyful,
Harmony. Time is a part of my story. The facts in my feelings say I am sincere. I live in each moment with nothing to fear. Strings of philharmonica, sidewalk music near and far. Spirit shining like a star. The facts in my feelings say I am sincere. I live in each moment with nothing to fear. Simple, joyful harmony. Timing is upon me. Heart for rhythm, my story. The facts in my feelings say I am sincere. I live in each moment with nothing to fear. Simple harmony. Timing is a part of me. Heart for rhythm, my soul. Yay!
You guys, that was so beautiful. Thank you so much for sharing that with us. And I want to dedicate this offering to do the work of spirit and truth to the people of Unity Center of Des Moines. And we are grateful. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I'm not sure what Dennis is doing.
I can do the peace song on the guitar, but I can't do it on the piano.
Okay, so there was apparently some planning before I was involved. So I was gonna do the thing like Deb does. The universal greeting of peace.
Yeah, you can do that.
Okay,
I'm just up here for the peace song.
Great.
he's gonna give us some music while I lead us through the universal greeting of peace from the Gandhi Foundation. Is
Yeah,
that
go
what you're
ahead.
saying?
Do it.
Oh, okay, great. What's up?
Do it.
All right, I'd like to invite everyone to stand up and follow along with me. I'm gonna do my best to remember the hand motions. I do have the words. Give me just one moment here. Okay. I offer you peace.
I offer you peace.
I offer you love.
I offer you love.
I offer you friendship.
I offer you friendship.
I see your beauty.
I see your beauty.
I hear your need.
I hear your needs.
I feel your feelings.
I feel your feelings.
My wisdom flows from a higher source,
And my wisdom flows to the higher source.
and I salute that source in you.
And I salute that source in you.
Let us work together for unity and peace.
Let us work together for unity and peace.
Yes. Okay, now I understand what you're talking about the peace song. Oh, so that concludes our service. We close with a song, the peace song that Dennis is gonna do on the guitar.
Yeah, sure.
Oh, yeah, that's the end.
Okay.
Okay, we need Deb, you guys. But we're doing our best. Okay, if I can have everybody make a great big circle around the room. We're gonna sing our closing song and then we're gonna do the closing benediction. And Dennis is gonna play guitar.
We're gonna try to make it through. If
We're
if
gonna-
I lose my space, you guys keep singing.
We'll just follow over. We're gonna use our voices. Yes. And there be sorrow and let it be with me. And there be sorrow and it's supposed to be. With all that we love, and the glory. Let us walk with each other. Yay, Dennis! And now we're closing. The light of the divine surrounds us. The love of the divine inflows us. The power of the divine protects us. The presence of the divine watches over us. Wherever we are, God mighty is, and all is well. There are cookies in the community room and beverages. If I could get 2 rows of sticks in the back like we usually do, and the actual chairs along the wall. Be home safe, watch your step, and I'll see you next week. Thank you, everybody.